to be back on.
Long time no see.
Yeah.
Even though I saw you like 2 hours ago.
So we see each other every day now.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking sick.
Yeah, I'm literally is my like thing good quality? Am I fuzzy?
Maybe a little bit. You could wipe it. I just wiped mine.
Seems
That's
better.
better. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I'm still like I just got my soul back from that leg day. Like, those squats at the end, even though it was like a plate and a 10 for sets of 20 after everything we did, I was just like my oxygen debt was so deep.
Yeah.
It's like, my body was just full of carbon dioxide. I think I was poisoned.
Antoine's a maniac, man. He never gets tired, eh?
Yeah, but dude, it's crazy how well our training styles match up.
It looks
Like,
like it.
yeah, like I think we get like the same sort of fulfillment out of that, like higher volume, high intensity, like doing drop sets and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And it just works out because we're both at a point right now where our recovery can handle it. Because he's not like super deep into prep yet, and I'm like 3 weeks into my off season now, so things are starting to roll for me. So
Yeah.
I don't know if this level or this much volume will sustain throughout his whole prep. But again, like I feel like even if he has to lower his volume as he gets deeper into prep, it will probably be a good time for me to lower my volume too, because I'll be getting bigger and like trying to do a little bit less volume, more intensity. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
just in terms of like calorie preservation, like not trying to be in the gym for 2 hours when I only need to be in there for one.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. I've been trying to like bring down my volume just a little bit. Seems to be working because I'm getting a lot stronger. And because I'm training with Alex and he's on his own prep schedule because he's like a week out.
Yeah.
So I'm just rolling with the punches. So if we have to do lower volume for a week because you're a week out, then I'll just kind of do that and then ramp it up afterwards. But yeah, I mean it's good to go through those phases anyways.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, I'm sure what you're doing for Alex is going a long way for him. Like just getting him through these last like couple weeks. I mean, the guy's been peeled. I mean, the guy
Yeah,
was peeled when I was here, like, I don't know, a month and a half ago before I moved.
I know.
Like I saw him and he was peeled then, and he's like transparent almost.
Yeah, he looks good, man.
He looks great, man.
Yeah,
I'm really excited for him. I think he's gonna. I think with his shape and muscle bellies, like his legs are crazy. Like
yeah,
he's got everything, in my opinion.
100%. Yeah, I mean, I've never been to like a US show, like a pro qualifier in the US. So it'll be really interesting to see just like different like talent pool and stuff, you know what I mean? Like different
Yeah,
crowd, different energy. Seeing some of the other guys like Beef Stew's gonna be down there. So I'll probably like run into guys that I don't normally see at gyms and stuff. So that'll be fun. So I'm looking forward to that for sure. And then hopefully coming home with a pro card with Alex. But yeah, man, it's gonna be fucking good. So yeah, I've never been to Texas, so I'm looking forward to seeing what that's all about.
so are you guys like, how long are you going for? Are you staying for a little bit after, or
I think he's staying for a few days after with his girl, because she's coming down with us, but I'm gonna come back home on the Sunday, so I'll be down for 5 days. Yeah,
okay.
just try to come back as soon as possible because you know how it is, man. Like it's hard to kind of be away and like change a schedule and like, you
I
know,
know. I
yeah,
know.
it's just yeah,
I'm not good at it.
it's hard. It's really hard. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's good to do it
When
at
I
least once in
travel,
a
like
while.
when I'm traveling for bodybuilding, I'm like chicken and rice 4 times a day and like two cheat meals. Like that's basically what I do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because I'm just like, I just don't want to lose weight. Like
I know.
that's all I think about.
Yeah, and usually when you're away, not everything is perfect. You don't have your kitchen all the time with you and stuff, and sometimes you're running on other people's schedules too. Like especially if it's a show weekend, right? It's like I find it hard to eat, man. Sometimes, like especially when you have clients on stage, fucking so anxious. I'm like choking down meals in between yelling at them and stuff, and like then you're
My
backstage.
most anxiety I feel is when
Yeah,
I'm watching a client go on stage.
why is that? It's
I
like
don't know,
the
dude. I
worst.
sweat
Yeah,
like
yeah,
my armpits, like I get like anxiety sweat,
I know. Yeah,
bad, and like I don't really get that like any other time.
I know. Like I feel like I'm more anxious for clients than I am most of the time for myself.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
like
I don't think a lot of people understand, man. Like the emotional side of coaching. Like if you actually give a shit, like you're dedicated to your clients and like you've worked with them so long,
yeah,
and like that's why, and like, how much it means to them, and like they put their trust in you to step, like, to get them ready to step on stage. So
Yeah.
they've done everything you said, hopefully, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like, it happens to all of us. Like, you get a client walk out and like they don't look how you want them to look, and you're like, fuck, like what went
Yeah.
wrong? And then
Yeah. You feel bad.
things start running through your head. You feel like you let them down. But then we also know as athletes, like, shit just happens sometimes too. Like, it's not
Yeah.
it's not that you did anything wrong. It's like, we all know what to do, how to prep someone, how to cut water, how to fill up. It's just really hard to nail it. Like,
Yeah. And I think that's where a lot of the anxiety comes from, is because you don't have control over everything anymore. It's like what's like, it's like, you're kind of like letting your child go to school on their own. It's like you leave them backstage, you're like, okay, please do good.
yeah.
And then
And
you're
then
just
the
like,
other
okay,
side
open
too,
the
like,
fuck up.
yeah, yeah. But
We
then
want
even
the
like,
result, the judges, you can't control that shit, right?
yeah, you can't. And most clients understand, like, that they know the way it goes, and like they can obviously see the effort you put in, like, to helping them. Like, if you're there for them, telling them what to do, like telling them how to peak, like, I mean, you're doing everything you can, like, you know what I mean. Um, but even on the other side of that too, like when you lose a client sometimes, like, you know what I mean, like, it sucks sometimes, like,
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I hate that.
especially ones that you've been working with for a long time, and stuff like that. I mean, a lot of people just look at us like, oh, like, we're just coaches, it's just a business, but like, it's a lot more than that, man. Like, it's even like, takes me back to my personal training days. Like,
Yeah,
you have like personal training clients, but like some of those clients I have for like 2 or 3 years on end, like, they become like your good friend. Like, you
100%. Yeah.
all the time, like, you tell them things, they tell you things, like, it becomes like more personal. And so yeah, that's like a whole side of my coaching that's like never talked about, I feel like.
I know. Yeah, no, I love building relationships with people, man, because yeah, like, even like you're filming with like your buddy, your client who's a friend of yours, and that's cool, man. So you can help each other out, and that's what it's all about. And yeah, dude, it's the best feeling when you have a client and they win, and you're just like, it's so rewarding. It feels so amazing.
It
And
is,
then
man.
then you have those times where your client doesn't get what they deserve or that you think they deserve, and you know how hard they work, and you just, oh fuck, you feel for them really bad. You see them, and you're like, try to reconcile, and okay, back to the drawing board, and then but that's what the sport's all about, because we're doing the same thing that they are. So it's really fun when you have, you can be a mentor while you're going through it at the same time. You're talking the talk while you're walking the walk. It's fun to do that, in my opinion.
Oh, dude, absolutely, man. And I think that's like, that can really help, not necessarily make us like a better coach, but it can keep you more familiar with like the psychological side of it. So like, when your clients are going through things, you can literally be like, yeah, I went through that like 2 months ago. like
100%.
like,
Yeah.
or like after a show, like, post show blues, like that kind of stuff. You're like, yeah, listen, at week 3, this is how you're gonna feel. At week 4, this is how you're gonna feel. Week 6, 7, like, things are gonna start to come around for you. Like,
Yeah.
you kind of have that firsthand experience, and I know I do that with my clients all the time, and it kind of gives them it's just like good insight that you wouldn't get if you were just being coached by someone who really is just a coach, and is just
Yeah.
like, here's your diet, here's your training, just do it and check in a week. Because there's plenty of coaches like that, obviously.
Yeah. 100%. And speaking of coaches, now you're working with Dorian again, and you've had a couple of weeks under his belt with him again. The last time you worked with him was like way back in when, 2018, 19?
Yeah, yeah, like mostly like 2019, like beginning of 2020, and then like there was a pandemic and all that shit.
Yeah.
Uh
Do you feel like it's different now, like in terms of working with Dorian now, having a different level of knowledge?
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, well, I just like, I'm a lot closer with Dorian, like, on a personal level too, than I was back then.
Mm.
And like, I just know, like, kind of like what he's been through, and like all the things he's been doing, and I'm like he knew a lot back then, so it's like I trust him so much now. Like,
Yeah.
I always did trust him, because the first time I worked with him, I got great results. Like, and I just find like everything with Dorian just like makes sense.
Yeah, it
You know
does.
what I mean? And I also like the emphasis on like health and digestion, and like, to me, that's like super important, because obviously it's important, like, for so many reasons, like,
Yeah.
longevity and just like not dying. Um,
Everything. Yeah, it's pretty much
yeah,
everything.
yeah, and it's just like a no brainer. Like, honestly, like, especially with him just being around, the gym, being able to see me in person, being able to see how I'm training.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, and so far, man, it's going like way better than I could have expected.
that's good, man.
Yeah, I'm
What
growing.
are some big changes that he's made since you started working with him, if anything? Just more food?
Well, if I go back to what I was doing before I got on track, it's like massive improvements all across the board. Not more food for
Yeah.
sure. I was in this bad thing, especially with all the moving and stuff, like the 2 weeks that we were dealing with all that. Like again, like I was doing like the chicken and rice 4 times a day thing, and like
Yeah.
a cheat meal and like a protein shake, like So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like micronutrients weren't there, digestion wasn't the best, all that stuff. So he increased my food, has me doing like a lot more cream of rice than I was doing. Wasn't really doing
Yeah.
much cream of rice at all. Now I'm having like twice a day at least, and I think that's helped me get a lot of carbs in to keep digestion on point.
Yeah.
Increase fats a lot, just like healthy fats. Like I got like, dude, even for a while there, I wasn't even using fish oil. Like I'm embarrassed to say that, but I
Yeah.
wasn't.
Yeah.
So back on fish oil, like doing 30 mils of olive oil a day. Some good like natural nut butters and stuff in there. Um, little bit of fruit, like just enough. But yeah, like everything's just rolling, man. Like I'm able to eat 3 meals before I train at like 2 p.m. in the day.
Yeah.
And like my work, so I'm like super fueled for my workouts. Like pumps are ridiculous. And then everything's digesting so fast. Like I literally get home at like 4 or 5 and I'm hungry for my next meal. And it's working out good because I had this bad habit of like eating like 3 meals like after like 6:30 at
Hmm.
night, and it would mess with my sleep.
I
Right.
know. Yeah.
So now I'm able to get my evening meals in earlier, kind of have a bigger gap between when I finish my last meal and when I go to bed.
Yeah.
And I think that's just going to be good for digestion and stuff as well. So, and then he brought in like a lot of health supplements too, that I definitely wasn't taking before. So,
Nice.
and I think all that stuff, like, I just think everything is just working super well. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. That's fucking awesome, man.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
pumped, man. I honestly feel like I'm like my best, like, combination of like size, conditioning, and like gym performance right now, probably than I ever have been. Um, so it's exciting. So I'm just like, if I'm doing this good, this fast, like, a year now from now should be good.
Yeah, dude. I mean, fuck. Just seeing you in person, I mean, you're growing at a ridiculous rate already. So it's impressive, man, for real.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it's like I said, I'm surprised myself, man. Like
Yeah.
I'm like training with Antoine, like catch a look at myself in the mirror. I'm just like, Jesus, like,
Yeah.
like,
You look like a monster, man.
yeah, like I'm fine.
Yeah.
It's like and it's funny, man. Like I was saying to Antoine earlier, I'm really glad we're smashing legs hard today because like for the first time in my life, like I'm looking at myself in the mirror and I'm like, man, I think my upper body is like starting to kind of like outshine my legs a little bit.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
which I've never dealt with. Like I've always had a smaller, flatter looking upper body compared to my legs. So I'm like, man, I got to get these fucking legs up a little bit here. Like,
Yep.
so it's just nice because I've been focused on my upper body so hard for so long, like just trying to figure it out, trying to figure out like the frequency of when I should hit what and like what exercises work and stuff. And now
Mhm.
I just feel like so in tune with my upper body. Yeah, I don't really feel like I'm second guessing myself that much in training, or not as much as I used to.
That's
So
good, man. Actually, it's funny that you brought that up because I feel the same way in a way, you know? Like
yeah,
I've learned a lot in the past year, 2 years being at Pure, way more definitely in the past year than probably like years before in terms of like training knowledge and stuff, just being around everybody that's at Pure and just having the experience there. But I feel more confident training than I ever have for sure. Even on like shitty days, I'm still training really well. I'm not having a lot of the pains that I was having like in previous off seasons, or even like during my last prep, even though I had some injuries, like my knees felt good and like my elbows felt good and shit like that. So I was always just focused on like what is good. And recently it's like almost everything is good. Like I can't even find stuff to complain about because I'm making good progress and like just it's a good spot to be in. You know what I mean? Like it feels good.
yeah, man. I think something about this place,
Yeah. I think it takes a while to get there too, and then really to be able to optimize and then being in a place where you're comfortable. Like it's like a maturing in the sport or maturing with your body or like getting to a point where you're not overthinking everything. It's like, dude, like I think we
Yeah,
used to always overthink everything. And a lot of newer lifters tend to do that because it's like there's a lot of insecurity around what you're doing because you're not there yet. And I feel like it's like we're fucking feeling like we're there. So it's
yeah,
like now we know what to do. We've gotten ourselves here and we're making progress. We know how to make progress. And we've done this for a long enough period of time where I feel like it's just part of us now,
yeah.
you know?
Man, honestly, you nailed it.
Yeah.
You nailed it with that. Yeah, I feel the exact same way as you just said, dude. I think it's just accumulation of experience, like going through the trials and tribulations of the sport, like from every aspect of like, injuries, figuring out our digestion, like doing shows and sucking, like
Yeah.
figuring out what we did wrong, and like really just because it's like even when it comes to losing and like not being your best and stuff, like there's just lessons to be learned always, and it's like and there really is like two types of people in the sport, man. Like you see it all the time. You see it in your clients, you see it in other competitors. Like there's people that just can't take the good out of anything bad.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? They're just looking for excuses and people to blame and stuff like that, rather than taking like ownership of when things go wrong and
Yeah.
just trying to learn from it. And I think when you realize that that's the only way to getting to where you want to be, then you do it every time. Like,
Yeah.
I find myself doing that now more than ever. And it's a lot easier for myself to get myself out of mental ruts and stuff, because when I'm going through shit or I'm going through something hard, I really do try to find the light in it. Like
Yeah.
what can come out of this, like.
Me too. Yeah, 100%, man. Especially this off season where I used to be in previous off seasons so hyper focused on like I don't know, I don't even know what I was hyper focused on, but it'd be like little things like a knee twinge or like a shoulder feeling off. I'd always be like overthinking that and spending so much time warming up and like easing into things. Now I have a lot more confidence where I can just it's like I have no problem lifting weights now. You know what I mean? Like I used to have to get psyched up to do things that I can do now, just basically turning on and off the switch, instead of always having it on. I feel like I've developed the ability to laugh in between sets, kind of turn off for a bit, not worry about it's 60 seconds. I got to do my set. Like if a few minutes go by because I'm talking or whatever, or just I'm with a training partner who's a week out and he's going a little slower, I'm not anxious about that like I used to be. So that's a good thing, man, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what? Yeah, I think I feel the same way about
You
that
know,
as well. Yeah, it's like, I think we're always going to deal with that like inner bitch. Like that never goes away. Like,
yeah,
like no
yeah,
matter how advanced we get, like doing legs today, man. Like when we got to that last like squat superset with leg extensions after all the volume we did, in my head, I'm like, find an excuse.
yeah,
Like seriously,
yeah, yeah,
right?
for sure. Yeah.
I'm like, maybe on my hamstring might cramp up. Like, but it's just like, no, like gotta finish the job. Like Antoine's in prep, he's doing it. And then I just like decided I was gonna do it and did it.
Yeah, exactly, dude. That's all. And the more you do that, you get better and better at doing that. Because when you bitch out, you get better at being a bitch. It's like you reinforce the positive, you get better at doing it. You reinforce the negative, you're less likely to be good at doing it. It's like you have to train your mental to just like you're training your body because it's not going to go one way or the other. It's going to go both together.
And you gotta stay on top of it, man. Cause like I'll admit this,
Yeah,
man. The last 3 or 4 months for me, like I was I was giving that inner bitch more than ever, probably I have in like years before. Cause I just
yeah,
felt
yeah,
like I just crashed after my everything that happened this summer and like competing and stuff like that. And like I just like I was starting to like not like bodybuilding that much. Like,
yeah,
at least for me. Like,
yeah, yeah. I
um
felt like that. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. And now and like I knew like that was like one of the biggest things with me coming out here. Cause like I knew back home, just me doing it the way I was doing it just wasn't fun anymore. Like I
yeah,
wasn't,
yeah,
and that's why I knew I wasn't gonna get better. Right. And now coming out here, now like I was literally saying this to myself after legs today. I was like, just because I pushed myself harder and all these things, I'm like, man, like I really want this again.
yeah,
Like I
yeah,
feel like I'm 25 and like I'm like, this is the only fucking thing that matters to me. Like
yeah.
I feel like I lost that for a while. I was kind of doing it more because I had to, was my identity. Like if I don't do this, what am I gonna do?
Mhm,
But now it's like fuck yeah, like I want to push it. Like,
mhm. That's so funny, man. I feel the same way. It's so funny. It's like we're actually going through the same things. I feel the exact same way because even before, and especially before I moved to Burlington and started training at Pure, and even like transitioning in, I felt like that. And I was like, it was just hard. Like there would be days where I would actually like not go to the gym. I just didn't want to go. I'd be like, you know what? I'll just take today off. I'm looking for something else to do that's gonna take my mind off it because I didn't really feel like doing it all the time. I was like, you know what? I'll train 4 days a week. Like I don't really want to train that extra day. I don't ever feel like that now. Now I really look forward to my days that I train, and when I have days off, I find other things to do, and it's like it's a good balance. And I haven't missed a workout, and I haven't like fucking bitched out. Like for me, like you know what I mean? Like it's like only like no one else cares, no one else knows because everybody thinks we work so hard all the time. Like, oh, you're
Yeah.
always working so hard. How do you work so hard? And you're like, but it's like I could have done a couple more reps today. And I really wanted to do them, and I bitched out. It's like, but that's not happening.
Yeah. Like for a while there, man, I definitely I caught like I was doing bare minimum, like barely taking any health subs, like just getting these like shitty basic meals in, like hating going to the gym, like just struggling through workouts, like not getting any content because I just wasn't enjoying it. I'm like, it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you want to show people a video of you not having fun. Like,
You get comfortable, and then the results aren't where you want them to be, so you get a little bit less motivated, and then it's a vicious cycle, and you start looking for an escape. And then the more you do that, it's like then now you're distancing yourself from what you truly want to do. And then it's like now you're at like turmoil with yourself because you're like, I really want to feel like I've got my mental edge back. And when you don't have it, it doesn't feel good.
yeah, I think it makes sense that we're kind of both going through this because it's like this is like a crucial part in like a pro bodybuilder's career. I feel like, right? Because it's like we did what it took to get like turn pro. We took some time to get better. You
Yeah.
know, we both competed as pros and like did okay, like didn't do
Yeah.
great. But I think like this is the time when a lot of pro bodybuilders either understand like how much more it's going to take out of them to get
Mm.
better and to be at the top level, and then and they do it, and then there's other people who also have that conversation with themselves and it's not worth it to them, so they don't get better.
Yeah.
I think that happens to a lot of guys around like 30, 31 years old. you know
Yeah. Because I think there's that point that we experience. It's like I was reading a book and it's like talking about this is the grind. This is the grind. People like are like, I'm grinding. It's like the grind is when you keep going when you absolutely don't want to. Because then it kind of like it comes back around. It's like
yeah,
you lose motivation, you gain motivation, you lose motivation, you gain motivation. But just like because it's all like dopamine based and right, it's like when you have this contest prep, like you're so fucking motivated, things go crazy. Then after the show, depression, you go through that phase, you bring yourself back, you go through the off season, you get better at doing that though.
yeah.
You
Well,
know what
man,
to
that's
expect.
life, right? Like life, I say it all the
Exactly.
time.
Yeah.
Life is valleys and peaks, man. Like in
Yeah.
everything, in your relationships, in bodybuilding, in your business. Like business, like man, sometimes you're like, dude, I'm rich as fuck. Like I'm never like I'm good, like and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
next thing you know, you're having a bad month, and like you're just like, damn, like should I go back to school? Like,
I
like
know.
like that's
Start
like
questioning
that's a
life.
real
Yeah.
that's a real thing, right? And
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but you got to remind yourself of that, like
Yeah.
like yeah, like I find myself having to remind myself of that all the time. Yin and yang, right?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, but
Exactly. Like when you're going through a contest prep, you're at like maybe 8 or the 4 week out mark, one or the other, and you're like starting to crack. You're like, I don't know if I really want to do this,
oh, dude,
And then you get over that, and then you crush the rest of it because you overcame that.
yeah. And it's the hardest doing that early in your career because it's like now, like you said, like we have our brains are more trained.
Yeah, yeah,
We know what's happening at those points. We're like, I'm feeling like this because I'm getting shredded. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like it hurts because I'm getting shredded. So I just got to keep pushing. But like, I remember like my first couple of preps, man, I would hit those points and like, I don't know what made me keep going. Like, I really don't. Probably just the fact that I said I was going to do something and I didn't want to quit because I didn't want to hear about it from other people.
yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? But like that, having that reason to not quit, like made my brain the way it is now, where it's like I can really give it to my inner bitch when I have to.
100%. Yeah. I think it starts deep, man. Like it probably starts when you're young. It's like, are you a child who goes and like gets a job when you're in like high school, or are you a kid that kind of like rides by until like all through college, all through university, whatever. Then the end of that, and then you're like, now I'm going to get my first job. Like different journeys and stuff. But I think what you do leading up throughout your entire life until you're an adult obviously builds a foundation, and then you just keep building on that.
How old were you when you had your first job?
I was 16.
You were 16. What was it?
It was a restaurant. I was a dishwasher.
Okay, nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I tried doing a few things before that, but I fucked around a lot. So my first job was actually when I was like 14 or 15, and I would make rainmakers out of like arts and craft rainmakers with beans, and I made them for my friend's mom. Sorry, my mom's friends.
okay,
And I
cool.
would sell them for like $7 or $10, and I would use that money to buy Yu-Gi-Oh cards. But I learned a lesson when I was that young that I did a bunch of orders. I took all the money, bought a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, had no money left over, couldn't buy supplies, and I couldn't make the rainmakers, and I got in big trouble.
Oh, you made the biggest mistake.
I fucked up, man.
You fucked up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I felt so bad. I felt so bad because like I was like, oh my god, like I don't know, it was just like it was a good experience because I got my first real job and I took it extremely seriously and I moved up in the restaurant pretty quick.
Yeah, that's
So
good.
it's
Yeah.
like, you gotta take that lesson on the chin and fucking smarten up.
Yeah, dude, 100%. I think me just like working in like hardware stores and stuff like that at an early age was good for me because I was forced to like come out of, because I was only like 15, 16, like had to like come out of my shell, work with adults, like,
Mm-hmm.
have real responsibility, like understand that like you can't be like wasting other people's time and stuff. They're like actually relying on you to get something done that's like important to like,
100%.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was super good for me. Even like I hated it, but like there's so many things I look back on, and it's funny like that. Like my mom specifically made me do, and like same thing with like extracurricular sports and stuff. Like she
Mhm.
would never let me quit anything.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Like
good.
it wasn't an option, like, especially if it's something I said I wanted to do, or if I was like karate, for example, right? So I started karate when I was like 5 years old because I just wanted to be like a little ninja, like any
Yeah,
little
yeah.
kid, right? Dude, I was in karate until I was 18.
Oh wow, shit.
And I wanted to quit like from like 15 onwards, but like I was really good. Like I had to, when I was 18, I had to pick between 17, I had to pick between going to Canada Games for basketball or karate, right? And that was when I could finally quit because I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like equally as good at basketball and karate, and I wanted to like obviously stay with my buddies. Um, but like I'm so happy she was like that now because it's
Yeah.
so hard for me to quit anything. Like I just like once I'm doing something like good luck getting me to give up. I just
Yeah.
can't because I can't feel the regret of quitting.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that to me like hurts more than anything. Right.
What made you when you're doing basketball then? What made you like were you lifting at the time? What made you quit basketball and then just start bodybuilding?
Well, I was really good at ball, and then I kind of like I was supposed to go play university basketball for like Memorial University in Newfoundland, like where I'm from. And then I kind of got away from it for like the summer leading into the season, which
Hmm.
is like just because I was just like partying and like just being an idiot. And then I went back and like I was kind of rusty like for the tryouts and stuff. And I was gonna make the team as like a red shirt for my first year, right? But the very last tryout, a buddy of mine came down with the ball like, in scrimmage and like elbowed me across the nose, and he broke my nose and like split it like right across. And it was like that was the fourth time I broke my nose, and I had to go get surgery on it for the second time. And after I got my surgery, the doctor was like, "So, like, what's the plan for basketball?" And I was like, "I don't know. I'm still going to try to play on the team." And then he was like, "Well, unless you're going to go to the NBA," he was like, "You might want to take a second thought." He was like, "If you get hit in the nose again," he was like, you're going to need full facial reconstructive surgery because I can only breathe out of like my right nostril now.
Hmm.
Like I can get a little bit of air in my left one, but not much. Like my septum is like deviated to shit, right?"
Fuck, yeah.
And then I was just like, "Fuck this! Like I don't want to be a red shirt anyway." So I ended up getting cut because
Hmm.
the coach knew I was partying and stuff, and he just like was a super strict guy. So like, and once I got the elbow, that was like I was done. Like right.
Yeah.
So, but it's like everything happens for a reason. Like like look at it. And then so
100%.
then I just partied and got fat, and then I was like I don't want to be fat, so I started going to the gym, just like the university gym.
Yeah.
And man, I did like two sets of squats and like I didn't fit into my jeans like a week later. Like I was just like holy shit, like I responded pretty fast, right? And then me being me, I was probably only working out for 4 or 5 months, and then like I did my first steroid cycle.
Oh
Like,
damn.
yeah, did like 2 mils of T400 a week. I was like 18
Yeah.
for like 8 weeks, and I was like partying and stuff too. But I put on like 25 pounds.
Good genetics.
Yeah,
Hyper responder.
yeah. And then I got away from it for a while. Then I think I didn't do steroids for like a year, and then I decided I was going to do my first show in 2013,
Yeah.
and then I started a cycle like 5 months out, just like test. And then as it closed, I just did test E, I think like 500 mgs for like the first, I don't know, 12 weeks. And then for the last 8 weeks, I did test probe and tread ace,
Yeah.
right? Self-coached,
Yeah. Yeah.
self-coached. And I had a coach, but he was just like doing macros with me.
Okay.
But like I was smart enough to still eat good, and I was so hungry. Like I hated vegetables
Yeah,
like
yeah.
my whole life. And then that prep made me like vegetables because I was so hungry and it was like the only thing I could eat. Um,
Yeah, start to
yeah, I
appreciate
got
them.
pretty shredded. Got pretty shredded for the show after.
That's pretty funny, man.
Yeah, rest was history.
Yeah. Yeah, I really thought I was gonna go pro in paintball. I was pretty
Yeah,
sure. Yeah, and I got my paintball stuff stolen by my training partner at the time. So I just started getting into lifting. And the weird thing about paintball, it's like the opposite of bodybuilding because you want to be as small as possible.
yeah,
So I was also bulimic at the same time because I'm like, I just have to be small. So if I ate, puke, puke and run, puke and run. So basically, but again, it's like everything happened for a reason because I literally had like 3 grand worth of equipment stolen at like 17 years old. There's no way I could possibly replace it. I'm like, okay, this is not fun anymore. I don't want to do this shit. Too expensive anyways, just buying paint every weekend and like shit like that. And equipment's like way too expensive.
yeah,
And yeah, so then I just started lifting instead. And then fucking that was it, man. Transition straight away. This is the one.
yeah, man. It's weird. Bodybuilding transitional stories are always weird. I always feel like it's like the guys that were really meant to do it. Like it
There's
just like
always a reason, you know?
yeah, it
It's
just
like
happened.
you were bullied and then something specific happened, then you couldn't do something else, and then you found this and then you just fell in love with it. You know,
And
it's
I
like,
find a lot of people too, like had an eating disorder or they were like
yeah,
chubby or like obese, and it's like it almost helps you because it's like once you kind of like had that type of self-hatred and like insecurity about yourself and you claw your way out of that, you get
mhm,
away from that, it's like it gives you a level of discipline that like because you'll never go back to it. It's like certain people just have that, you know. I see
yeah,
it in some of my clients like that I've have like lost like 100 pounds and then came to me to build muscle, or I help them lose a bunch of weight and then it's time to build muscle, and
yeah,
it's like so hard for them to see the scale go up. It's like their brain is just like spazzing out, just like no, like gaining weight's like so bad.
I know.
But I think once you learn to like kind of control that, it still works with you because it helps you stay more disciplined, like when you're dieting and cutting fat and stuff like that. Like that's like a trait that I find is very common.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I agree, man, for sure.
yeah, you gotta be a little bit crazy to do this shit.
Yeah, 100%. Bodybuilders are fun. That's for sure. I got some really good questions here. You want to do a couple of these?
Definitely.
Yeah, I got some good questions. Just start with a couple basic ones. Dirty bulk versus clean bulk. Which one produces the best result and why?
Dirty bulk, obviously. Just do that. No questions asked.
Yeah. I've been training for 2 years and I want to compete in 18 months. I've been natty until now. Should I start blasting and cruising if my goal is to be a pro?
You gotta do that one more time.
Okay. This guy's been training for 2 years and he wants to compete. He's been natty until now, but he wants to know if he should start blasting and cruising if he wants to be a pro.
Yeah. Yeah, you
Right
should.
now, like just start now.
Yeah.
The thing,
Well,
yeah, I mean, the thing is like
time is a wasting.
don't waste time. Well, I
Yeah.
wanted to talk about this one because it's like really we don't really have any contacts. He just wants to be a pro, so it's like at some point you're gonna have to do it. So we can't make that decision for you. It's just you're gonna do it at some point if you want to be a pro. So whenever you do that, it's not super relevant. You'll have to make that decision on your own.
You want me to rant? Let me rant on this for a second, okay?
Go for it.
So the reason why I said yes right away is because if you fucking really want to be a pro, right? Like if you really think you have what it takes and you're really willing to do what it takes and you're really willing to make all the sacrifices you're going to have to make, because there's going to be a shit ton of them, then yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
go for it. Do it right. Get a coach. Start with low doses. Like start putting on the slabs because if you want to be a pro, you're going to need a fucking lot of it. And there's guys turning pro younger and younger, and it's getting more competitive because of that, right? So I'm not like joking around here, but one thing I'm pretty tired of, and like I'm not saying this to hurt anybody's feelings or anything like that, but in this last year I've heard so many people say the words "I want to go pro," and then follow up these people in 2 or 3 months, and it's like it's not even like in their life anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? It's not even like a thing anymore. And then I see people who are in their contest prep season, and it's all about, oh, I want to do this. I'm going to turn pro. I'm going to compete again in 6 months. And then in 2 or 3 months, they're like, they don't even look like they work out, and like they're in off season or some shit. Like they're going to compete in like 2026. Like,
Yep.
like those people, think they want it. They like the idea of it, right? But like when you really want this, man, like it's got to burn hot in you, and like you gotta your whole life has to prioritize around it because these days, if not, you don't have a chance. It's too competitive.
Yeah, I agree, man, 100%. Because I think if you're trying to tiptoe around things, like, the worst thing you could do is be like, I want to be a pro, but like, I don't really want to do injectables. What do you think about SARMs? It's like you're not you don't have the mentality because it's all or nothing. You go all or you don't bother. When I first decided that I was going to do this for sure, I did a series of shows naturally for my first year of competing because I didn't even know what steroids were. I just, oh, there's a show. Okay, I wanted to do it. Had a friend doing it. He wanted me to do it. There was a $500 prize. Did the show. Fucking won it. Want to do it again. So I did 3 shows natural, and I was like 100% for sure. I want to go to the nationals. I want to go all the way. What do I need to do? So I found the coach at the time, Darren Oliver, rest his soul, because he was a great guy. And he was the guy training all of the national level super heavyweight guys, all the guys that were going to be turning pro, the biggest guys. I went right to him. I was like, tell me what to do. I'll pay you whatever. I want to take juice. I want to be a pro. And he was like, all right. I'm not even kidding. This is what he said. He said, take 500 mgs of DECA a week. Get it from this guy. Here's his number. He told me what to do. And I was like, okay. So I got the DECA, started taking the 500 milligrams of DECA every week. And I went back to see him in like 6 weeks. I looked like a moon face. I'm like, all right, man, like I got some more money. I want to start paying you to train me now. And I did. And I did, man. Like I fucking paid him. I had no money. I was just scrapping by. I'm like, can I get a discount? He's like, if you want a discount, you're not serious. They come back when you can pay for it. It's literally what he told me. He's like, you're embarrassing me to ask for a discount. I'm like, oh, fuck. So yeah, then I was like, yeah. And even the other guy, I was like, you get a discount? Like, what do I do? What should I do? He's like, you just do what I do, man. Go fucking work more and get money and then give him money and train. Like, what the fuck? Just
Yeah.
straight up blunt. That's what it is. And that's sometimes you need to hear that as a kid because you think like, I don't know, you're entitled or some shit,
Yeah,
right?
that's what I was gonna say. They're like, why do you think
Yeah.
you're so entitled, kid? Like you've done nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's
Who are
that's what
you? Yeah.
that's what I mean. There's a lot of that going on too, man.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people think that they're entitled to something because in their world, like they've worked really hard,
Yeah.
right? But like they in reality they haven't.
Yeah.
Like
I've done hard workouts. I've hired, so and so, and they trained me once. It's like you did it once.
yeah,
Do it every day for
you
like
have
10 years.
one hard leg day in your 2 years of training.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what I mean, man. And it's like it was always a priority for us, no matter what was going on in our life. Like bodybuilding never took a back seat, man.
Yeah.
Like I've been through like family members dying, like hard shit, like
Yeah.
that life throws at you that everyone goes through. But the difference in people who become great in the sport are the people that don't let that stuff phase them
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
continue on the path while they handle that. Whereas so many people, man, say they want to do this, but it's like they think because they decide they want to do this, everything's going to be perfect. Like
Mhm.
they're never going to have interruptions like in their life, right? And then as soon as something happens, like, oh, like, this wasn't supposed to happen. Like, oh, it's not a good time to bodybuild anymore. I'll just give
Yeah.
up. There's other stuff to do. Like,
Yeah.
and it's like, yeah, it's because it's really hard, like to do life and bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Right? So most
Yeah.
people, when shit gets hard, they're just like, fuck bodybuilding because they got to do life.
I agree. It's sad when that happens, especially when it's someone that you know and you care for and you want to see them
Yeah.
do well, because you know in your heart that you have to do life and bodybuilding at the same time because life will keep going. It'll always keep going. But bodybuilding is like your grounding tool. It's like I always just like, and I feel bad because I had a client and like somebody passed away and like he just couldn't go on mentally anymore. I was like, this is when you need it. This is when you need it the most. You need it now because that person wants to see you become stronger. Like
Yeah.
that person would be like like when I lost my best friend in 2017, I just decided to make shirts with him on it. And it was during prep. It was like right when I started prep. I'm like, I'm just gonna wear this every day and he's gonna give me more strength and I'm gonna be stronger. I'm gonna win for him. Or something like that, and you do that because you feel like you have to do that. I felt like I had to do that. So if you feel like you have to get away from that, I don't know, man, maybe it's like you need to use your intuition better or something. You know what I mean? Because it's like
I just think these people aren't very self-aware. Like I just don't think they've really because
you
they
run
haven't been
away
through
because
it
it's
before.
scary.
yeah, like they can't understand how that would keep them grounded. Like, because it's like, okay, if life's going to shit and like you fall off diet and training, well, now everything's gone to shit.
Yeah, yeah,
Now you're letting
exactly.
go
Yeah,
of the things that you can control. And that's what I tell my clients all the time that are going through stuff in prep. They're
yep.
like, oh, like, I have a client right now. She's a super hard worker. Like, she busts ass. She's done shows before. She's killed it. She's starting a prep. I just know she has super high expectations for herself. But like, we're like 20 weeks out. She caught a wrist injury. She has some stuff going on in her personal life. And
Hmm.
she's like, I don't think I can do it. And I'm like,
Yeah, yeah. You
yes,
have
you
to do it.
can.
Yeah,
I'm like, you can. I'm like, there's so many things that we can still control here.
yeah,
And that's all you need. Like,
yeah,
I'm like, you're a bikini girl. Like, you got to train legs, you got to do cardio. You can do both those things. You can eat your food. I'm like, right,
yeah, yeah,
you're good. And then like talk to her and like she's like, yeah, okay, I'm good. Just needed that like talk. And again, going back to like what we talked about earlier, like we can do that with people because like we know what it's like. We know where they're at mentally. We've been there before. Like,
yeah.
right. So at the end of the day, man, it's just focus on what you can control, and you can do a lot.
Yeah. Being a bodybuilder is like being in that meme, that dog, he's like sitting at the table and his house is on fire. And he's like, this is fine. You just have to remain like that all the time. Like, okay, everything else, I don't have control over that. What do I have control over? Meals, training, whatever, mindset, whatever. That's all.
Yeah, dude. And like almost always, man, everything ends up being just fine. Like think
Yeah,
about it. Think about all the shit we've been through in our lives, and we're sitting here right now.
exactly.
Everything's
Yeah, yeah,
everything's fine, man.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
time's gonna pass. Whatever you're going through, it's gonna pass, and you're gonna find equilibrium again. Everything's gonna be good. You can get back to hitting it full force. But when you're going through the shitstorm, don't give up.
yeah,
You'll regret it because,
100%.
like I said, it's gonna pass, and you're gonna look back and you're gonna be like, oh, now I'm behind.
Yeah,
Right? And
yeah,
that feeling is the worst.
exactly. All right. Got a good one here. Who would win in a 50-meter dash, Robin or Mo?
Today, you.
You think so?
I can't barely walk here.
When was the last time you actually ran?
Like sprint.
Like fast, like try to run like decently fast, even.
Oh, wow, man, I honestly don't know. Not fast. Like I kind of like had a jog going there a couple days ago because my parking lot for my condo, I had to get like a city lot because my
Yeah.
girlfriend has the basement. It's like a 3 minute walk probably, right? But that's a 1 minute run. So like I forgot something there the other day and had to run back and get it. And I was saying to myself, I was like, man, you're moving pretty good.
Yeah,
But like to anyone else, it probably just looked like an elephant walking fast.
yeah.
you know. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like I still feel pretty athletic. Like,
Yeah.
like I feel like I definitely have the power to jump really high if I wanted to,
Yeah.
but I'm just like too risky.
Because the thing is like I tried sprinting probably around 5 years ago, like full out, and I felt like I was gonna pull a hamstring for sure. If I like, it's like you kind of have like a governor on yourself. Like you're like, you can't go full out because if you went full out, you would hurt yourself, guaranteed. So when you try to like run or go faster, jog, you limit your speed, obviously, because you're like, if I really pushed it, I'm not used to this, and it would feel like really fucked up. Because your biomechanics, like when you're trying to jog or run, you're like, this feels fucking weird. Like, I'm so heavy, like my ankles and shit.
Yeah,
So
dude, that like in that 1 minute run, I like my feet were like kind of hurting at the end of it.
that's what I mean. Yeah.
Right, just because like
Yeah.
our bodies are just not used to that, man. Everything we do is like slow and controlled, like constant tension, like
Yep. Yep.
taking our time. We can't go sprinting all out, dude, because our muscles are so strong.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
that like force, especially like in a cold state, like we're just popping tendons off bones, like
100%. Yeah. That's why you get injured the most when you're like slip on ice or something really sudden like that, right?
yeah, because you're cold and it's like a jolt.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
scary, man. I
Yeah.
hate walking on ice. It's like that's anxiety, man.
Oh man, I've like hurt my ankle on ice and it just feels so bad because you're just like you feel it like snapping and you still can't like there's nothing to stop yourself. You just go down.
Do they like salt the roads and stuff here or no?
For the most part, they're pretty good. Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Burlington's usually pretty good.
right.
Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah,
still, you never know. You got to be fucking careful out there.
I don't got the best tires on my truck for the snow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not kidding you. Like my truck fishtails a bit like when it rains.
I
Like that happened the other day, and I was like, "Oh, this winter is gonna be rough."
know, dude. I tell fucking Natasha all the time because she has been driving since I met her with her summer tires on. She never put her winter tires on, even in the winter, even though she has them.
Badass.
Yeah, and I'm
Okay.
like, when I first met her, I'm like, yo, are you good? Like, she's like, yeah, she's like, I'm guided by angels. I'm like, okay, this is definitely my girlfriend now.
That's
uh,
fucking funny, man. Yeah, tell
all
her this
right,
one goes over, man.
100%.
The
Yeah,
trip, it's like a trip to Mr. Lube.
yeah.
You
Like,
know?
okay, fine. We live 5 minutes from the gym, but still, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, yeah. You get back, see her though. She's hardcore
yeah,
too. She'll need to train legs or something, and
yeah,
it'll be a snowy day,
yeah,
and she'll be like, I gotta go, and then boom,
exactly. Yeah,
rear end somebody or something.
yeah, yeah. I know. I was in a little fender bender last winter. It was fucking pretty
Yeah,
shitty.
yeah. I gotta
Because
hit.
the roads will get icy and they'll salt them, but if you're driving at like early in the morning, they might not be out yet. So you got to be really careful.
Good thing I never do anything early.
Yeah, always wait until 10 a.m. then you can leave the house.
Yeah,
But not, even then, just depends on the day.
yeah.
All right, I got a good one that I made up. It's a would you rather. I thought about this one. It's pretty hard, but we got to go deep on it.
Okay.
Would you rather never eat any tomatoes or never eat any potatoes?
Oh, tomatoes, dude.
But dude, think about it. Tomatoes, that's ketchup as well. And that's like pasta sauce, pizza sauce. Like you can't eat any of that shit.
I barely eat that stuff.
Okay, fair enough. So that was an easy one for you.
Ketchup, I'll miss. Ketchup, I'll fucking miss.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
But you're gonna take French fries out of my life. You can keep eating.
Yeah, I know.
Keep.
Potatoes, yeah, I know. Because yeah, it's more of a staple, right?
Yeah. What am I supposed
Yeah,
to eat with a burger?
I know. Yeah, it's true.
Uh,
You won't ever be able to get tomato on your burger, but at least you can have fries and all that shit.
yeah, I'll miss it, but I think potatoes are more important.
Yeah, for sure. Um, okay, I got two more for you.
Okay.
If you only have two supplements, which two would you pick? Natural supplements, over the counter supplements.
Protein's not a supplement, right?
No, that's food.
Okay, that's food. Uh, ooh, fuck.
Carbs
Fish
and protein
oil.
are food. Carbs and
Fish
protein are
oil.
food. Which one?
Is fish oil food?
Uh, I guess not.
Yeah, it's a supplement. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm gonna take fish oil, and I'm gonna take oh
creatine.
creatine.
I mean,
Yeah,
creatine's number one. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's got all the
yeah,
research on it and
I
shit.
need creatine. That's what I'm because I'm in my brain. I'm like, okay, what can I get from food?
Yeah,
What am I getting from food that I don't need? Right. So I'm like EAs I don't really need.
yeah.
Uh, creatine I cannot. I don't eat red meat at all. So I pretty much
Oh,
need that.
really?
Yeah, we tried having steak in my diet, man, and like I know I can't do it. Like I always have trouble with it, especially like I can eat steak like once a week,
Yeah,
have a couple burgers once or twice a week, but once I start eating steak every day, dude, my poops are bad.
really. That's funny, man. Because I can eat it twice a day and be really good.
Yeah, I'll go from like because like now like where I'm eating like chicken for like my protein and eggs
Mm.
and protein powder. Like I go to the bathroom in the morning, I'm done for the day.
Okay,
When I
one and done.
was doing the steak every day, man, I was pooping like four like weird like poops a day. Like it was just random. Like it was not enjoyable.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Mm.
my poops are always weird, so it is what it is, I guess. So creatine and fish oil.
What
Yeah,
about you?
that's a pretty solid top two. I can't really think of anything that's like super essential that you couldn't go without.
Yeah, yeah. I love taking a lot of astragalus every day.
Yeah, I was thinking of something like that, like something for health, kidney health, or something.
Kidneys are the only really thing I worry about.
Yeah,
Actually. I don't really think
yeah.
about it. So
Getting like a good 9 to 12 grams of astragalus I mean, that's key, man.
yeah, dude, I think 100 milligrams of telmisartan, 1,200
Yeah,
milligrams.
that doesn't
Actually,
hurt. That
you're
doesn't
fucking
hurt.
good to go, bro.
Yeah, yeah,
You can run 3 grams a week.
100%. All right. This is last question.
Okay.
Does busting a nut before the gym have a negative impact on training in any way?
Oh, for sure.
100%. It is the worst feeling I've ever had. in the
100%, dude. You can't do it. You
gym.
can't.
I hate it.
Yeah. Like I don't even I'm good to go in the mornings. Like let's just say that. Like I love that, but like
Yeah, yeah,
I'm not fucking perfect, but I try to be conscious of it on training days. Like save this for the evening
yeah,
after training because there's a big difference, man. Like even
yeah,
today, felt great my leg day, super aggressive, got through the whole thing, and didn't have any fun this morning.
yeah.
Right?
I hear you, man. One time I did before a chest day, and I felt like I had nothing, like no connection. I was miserable. I was
Yeah.
not motivated.
You don't want to be there.
No.
Zero aggression.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I
Doesn't
was
matter.
like,
No,
I'm good with like 2 plates. I'll do a couple of reps.
yeah,
And then
music
you know
can't
what?
help
Fuck
you.
it. Yeah.
Nothing can help you, man.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, if you don't do that before you go to the gym and you like put on some David Goggins or something on the way, like
Yeah.
you're gonna walk in there like a beast, man. You'll be kicking the
100%.
front
Yeah.
door down, dry scooping pre-workout. You'll probably get like 5 girls hit you up for your number during your
Yeah.
workout.
For sure. 100%.
The pheromones too, because you got to keep those pheromones in. You start sweating, pheromones start coming out.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. You got to keep all that shit inside, man.
How you track the bikini girls?
Yeah.
Trust me,
Exactly.
you know.
They know. They have a built-in sensor of how much nut has been built up, and then they'll just
It's all
automatically get
primal.
attracted to you.
It's all
Yeah.
primal. It's all
Yeah.
primal.
That's it. That's it, baby. We ain't nothing but mammals.
And on that note,
Yes, sir.
yeah,
Yeah, good time, man. It's always good catching up, and
yeah.
we'll definitely keep this rolling. We slacking a little bit, but it's always
Dude,
good.
man, we should probably get Alex on soon.
I was thinking that, and we should get fucking Antoine on too. So
Yeah, we'll definitely get Antoine on. He'll come on for
okay,
sure.
you talk to Antoine, I'll talk to Alex, and we'll get them on
There you go,
ASAP.
guys. Your next two guests right there. So
Fucking
stay
right.
tuned for next episode.
Yep.
And Robin, you say all the other shit.
I was gonna let you do it.
Subscribe, ring the bell. Um, we got sponsors. Do we still have sponsors or?
I don't know. Anybody want to sponsor us? Comment below.
I'll sponsor us.
There
Sponsored
we
by
go.
Morgan Mac Nutrition.
That's it.
Sponsored by Strand Strong Training.
Perfect.
There you go. All right, we're good. We're out. See you guys. Thanks for
All right.
watching.
Peace out, brother. Love you.
See you. Love you too, buddy.